With the greatest respect, I say this with a lot of pain, but the national chairman of NDC, Ibn Ketia, was also on radio. And, you know, statements like we need to reset the country and we should start with the judiciary and then we go to the Electoral Commission. And what is that supposed to mean? Because if the national chairman of the NDC is also in active cahoots, in active support of this refrain, what is being reset? Or what is being reset? Look, it is just an incident of political history that I guess in the last 5 Chief Justices that we have had, Justice George Kingsley Akwa, Georgina Wood, Sophia Akufu, oh, but I guess if I say Justice George Kingsley Akwa and I say it comes to please, I don't think we are here for that. We are the Chief Justices we have had. Chief Justice Kingsley Akwa, Mrs. Georgina Wood, Madam Sophia Akufu, Enini Eboa, and Mrs. Gertrude Toko. Well, by incidents of political history, I mean, all these justices were justices who were appointed by the NPP government. But it's not something that anyone could have anticipated. But that is what happened. And can we say that these justices of the Supreme Court and Chief Justices have not distinguished themselves creditably? You see, when decisions are handed in court, we look at the basis of the decisions and make a critique of the decisions. But if because a Chief Justice has been appointed by a ruling government and decisions are handed, then it means that that Chief Justice is politically inclined. I found no merit in that reasoning. And what is the basis, some of the basis, the things that people have said loudly about why this President CJ should be removed, that they refer to the unanimous decisions in the 2020 presidential election petition. But come on, she wasn't even the Chief Justice at the time. The Chief Justice was Enini Eboa. She was only a panel member of the constituted bench of the Supreme Court, which heads the petition. So how can you hang that on her and say that because of that she should be removed and that the judiciary should be sanitized? In what way or manner? In any event, we are all students of the law. Some say you're a trained lawyer. I'm a trained lawyer. Inusa is a trained lawyer. Gloria is a trained lawyer. Bobby is a trained lawyer. Fortunately, all of us here are lawyers. Now, maybe people will say I'm speaking from a point of prejudice, but I always speak my mind as a trained lawyer. As I'm saying, I mean, it is not for glorification, but you know my stance on certain discussions we have had, both on radio and privately. And I don't mince words when I know what is happening. That's not set with me. But
that's right.
But please, let's be cautious. Because if we take a systemic and determined attempt to destroy our institutions of state, it is the country that will suffer. We have the executive, we have the judiciary, we have the legislature. Let us maintain this separate, distinct arms of government and let them all do their work independently. Now, a typical case of this 2020 election petition, which has generated this fury and this unanimous 9 or 7, whatever people are saying. Some say, between us all here as trained lawyers, is it mandatory for any defendant to open his or her defense in a case?
We have gone beyond it. I don't know why sometimes...
You see,
I'm tempted sometimes why the politicians, even those who are lawyers, they turn the law upside down.
It's
not mandatory.
Is it mandatory for a defendant in a case, both civil and criminal, is it even mandatory, even with a criminal trial, where you suffer the penalty of imprisonment, a fine, or sometimes you are hanged or you are jailed for life? It is not mandatory that the accused person should open his defense or her defense. It is the burden of the prosecution to prove the guilt of the accused person beyond all reasonable doubts. In a civil trial, it is the burden of the plaintiff to prove beyond the preponderance of probabilities that you have made out a case. If the defendant elects that, look, I'm not going to say anything, I'm going to rely on my statement of defense, what can be so nauseating? What can be so bad about it?
In fact, in a civil matter, that statement of defense will be struck off. And then and
that is used as a weapon. And sometimes this is found by lawyers. Come on. Now
there was a suggestion that this was some sort of sui generis of a matter that the EC at least should get in the box.
Oh, Samson. There is no bar to civil responsibilities in a civil trial, no matter how sui generis the matter is. You cannot change civil procedure. You cannot change the rules and orders of court. If it is A, it is A. We don't skew because it's sui generis. In any event, Samson, aside of the CJ, we also had indication that the petition had been forwarded for the removal of Justice Scott Porman by another citizen of the Republic. Just a day or two ago, I heard that petition has been withdrawn. What does it make of it? Quietly, that matter has been determined. If the petition is withdrawn, it's gone. But did we hear the cacophony of noises which have been made in respect of Georgina Wood? She's been given the petition, she submitted a response, and we are waiting for what would happen. I beg and plead with all Ghanaians, and the political actors especially, that we should refrain from making judgmental and prejudicial comments. It does not help the narrative, it does not help the discussion.